Hey folks, this is Trasknari. I apologize that I haven't been putting much content up. I've been really busy with school. In fact, I wanted to do something for Halloween, but I just didn't have the time. In fact, I wasn't even really able to leave my dorm room today. The only real Halloweeny stuff I did was read some creepypasta online and scare the bejeebus out of my roommate. Uh, but anyway, that's not the point of this video. Um, Many of you may know I play Dungeons and Dragons, and a few of you have been trying to get going in an online campaign, but due to time differences and time zones and shit, we haven't been able to start that. But I run a campaign here at school with a group of my friends. I'm the DM. We play 4th edition and use a combination of published material from the DM guide and the Scepter Tower of Spellguard so far, and so a little bit of homebrew stuff. So what I'm thinking of doing to make sure there's some constant content, I'm going to record recaps because I don't have a camera and I don't have a microphone that would record all the audio, because we play like we just sit in a big circle and play. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that, but what I can do is I can basically give you a recap whenever we're done. So we've been playing for quite a while now, since the beginning of school. So this video, and probably it's going to be split into groups depending on how much into depth I go. Chances are this will be far, far less in depth than most of the recaps will be. We try to play at least once a week, so expect these videos relatively often. Yeah, but this video will basically be getting you up to speed with with the campaign. And for the record, everybody started level 1. Well, the original party started at level 1, and as new characters joined, they joined at the correct levels. And right now they are at level 3, like recently having hit level 3. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and recap this from the best of my memory. If you have no interest in hearing me ramble and tell the story of a bunch of dweebs, then don't watch this. But anyway, let's begin. We start with the original party, which contained 3 members. One's a large dragonborn paladin named Phoenix, who tends to be quite a bit of a douchebag, although he doesn't want to admit it. And there's a elf rogue named Lucan, who instinctively starts a rivalry over who is more badass with Phoenix. And then the kind of soft-spoken Deva wizard, who, despite the other 2 members being unaligned and him being good, he's more of an enabler than anything. But anyway, they start off in the town of Fallcrest, where Lucan has some family. Lucan bumps into the 2 as they kind of bumble around aimlessly, and agrees to kind of show them around. They go to a tavern named I believe the Lucky Gnome Tap House, and immediately upon entering, the Dragonborn attempts to roll an intimidate check to try and get free beer from the bartender, who's a grizzled, very scary-looking human with an eye patch and a dagger. And the Dragonborn crit fails his intimidate check, and since it was the very first thing of the game, that's the only reason I didn't just immediately have the bartender cut his stupid throat. But yeah, they get chased out. Through a little bit more investigating, they find out that the dwarven blacksmith in town is quite distraught. So they go to try and talk to the blacksmith. They go in and find that he is quite distraught because a very special bit of dragon hide has been stolen from him, and he suspects it was stolen by kobolds. The dragon hide not only is obviously valuable, but it's also it's also from an old friend of his who passed away recently, so it has sentimental value as well. So he offers the party money, like 200 gold for retrieving, and then an extra 100 if they clear out all the kobolds in Kobold Manor, which is where they've kind of taken up residence, Kobold Hall, Kobold Manor, something like that. And immediately the Dragonborn again attempts to roll an intimidate check to try and get more money. And at this point I basically said, you're not going to intimidate the crap out of the poor old dwarf who is distraught over losing the only thing he has to remember his old friend. So yeah, they go in, they kill a few kobolds, they keep one alive from the first encounter, interrogate him, and find out there are traps in the next room. So their plan is tie up the kobold, and instead of using the rogue to check for traps, they check for traps by plopping the kobold on every single tile, and eventually trying to trigger traps like that, which was actually really funny. And then, like, when they mop up that room without getting hit by any of the traps, they cut the kobold's ties and kind of set him free. The party continues down further into the there's a car alarm going off, down into the dungeon, and God, what was it? Oh yeah, they find a dwarf who's trapped in a coffin with a bunch of kobolds trying to swing a rock on a stick to try and hit him. So they mop up the kobolds with a very interesting thing where the way the room is set up is there are two raised platforms where the kobolds toss the rock. It swings in a parabolic fashion over the coffins, trying to hit it before it swings up and reaches the other side. But I mean parabolic in a horizontal way, where like it swings forward and then back. But anyway, the the Dragonborn wants to go beat the crap out of the kobolds throwing the rocks, so he tries to climb up there and fails his climb check miserably, like 3 times before just contenting himself to stand in front of the big door waiting for whatever is making a lot of noise behind it to come and try and kill them. And as this is happening, the rogue tries to grab onto the rock as it swings past him and rolls a natural 19 on it and like leaps into the air, grabs the rope, flies up, missile drop kicks the kobold standing there, which sends him spiraling down the stairs, killing one minion on his way down. And if you don't know, minions are enemies that die with one hit of damage. And as another minion runs up to try and stop the elf just kind of holds out his sword and rolls a critical on his opportunity attack and just decapitates the kobold on his way past. So they mop up the encounter. The giant scary thing was a drake, by the way, which, due to some horrible rolling on the party's part, bloodied the paladin pretty badly. But they free the dwarf, who turns out to be named Barstaman Strongbeard, and is a he refuses any armor or weapons they try and give him, contenting himself to punch the crap out of anything they encounter. They go into the next room, which where the worm priest, the leader of the kobolds, is standing wearing a skull mask, and Barstaman agreed to help the party if they give him the skull mask, because that was his quest. So they go in, and this giant boulder drops down and starts rolling around the room. And at this point, the Dragonborn's player just starts really arguing with me about the physics of this, and I basically had the boulder take opportunity attacks at him. Like, I said it's a magic boulder, so whenever the boulder like rolled past him and he's standing to the side of it, the boulder would stop, bash him against a wall, and then continue on its way. So they kill the worm priest without too much trouble, and continue one floor down, where they encounter the real mastermind, a young white dragon named Zarathax. And I was planning on having a lot of fun with this guy, but the party was smart, and they let the dwarf do all the tanking, the dwarf NPC. So the dwarf kind of just runs up and starts getting the crap kicked out of him, because he's completely unarmored. And as this is all happening, they also just start dropping all their dailies on the dragon, which includes the dragon being dazed, which means he can't attack for a turn. Knocked prone, which means he couldn't do much anything. No, he got knocked prone and then had something done to him where he could only take one move action. So he couldn't attack if he moved, so he had to move to stand up. So they wouldn't let me attack. And then the moment I attacked the party for the first time, I knock the dragon just turns to the wizard and just bats his claw and just like knocks the wizard into negative hit points and knocks him unconscious in one hit. Then the rogue runs up behind the dragon, jumps on his back, and like stabs him in the back of the neck and like kills him. And I think the rogue claimed something as a prize. I can't remember what. I remember the paladin just immediately ripped the tooth out of the dragon and claimed it as a trophy. But they go to and they bring back the wizard. The wizard's name is Vise, by the way. And they kind of they rouse the wizard and wake him back up. And actually the rogue was the one to make the successful heal check, which I found funny. But after that, they go back into town and find a ailing wizard who seems to have fallen into a magical coma. So they're like, oh, we'll check into this as soon as we're done talking to the smith. So they take the dragon hide to the smith and find a note hidden within the dragon hide, which said that I can't remember how I worded it, but basically, make sure the wizard is disposed of. We can't having him stop our plans. Lady Saharel will be mine. And it was signed with a big T. So, and it was written in, I believe, Draconic, so it was they deduced it was addressed to the dragon. So they go and like quiz the crap out of the poor wizard's apprentice, and he tells them that the Lady Saharel is a ghost that appears in the ruins of a place called Spellguard every once in a while, and people go there called Seekers trying to talk to her because she can predict the future, and her word is always truth. So the party is like disturbed by this. They're like, okay, we'll go investigate and hopefully find a way to find an antidote for the wizard, the old wizard. So as they go, they meet the fourth party member along the way, who is a dwarf, who they find completely passed out on the side of the road. Oh, before I forget, when they got their horses, the Dragonborn, being a fool, has saved all of the spears that they got from the kobolds in the hopes that one day he can make a spear machine gun. And on his way out, his horse, he like spent 12 gold or something getting the horse a metal horn and a leather strap to attach it so he can say he's riding a unicorn or a rabbit. It's something stupid. So I'm gonna make it so they're exactly 12 gold short at some point. But yeah, I'll describe the dwarf real fast. So they find the dwarf cleric, who's the next party member. And paladin, by the way, is a paladin of the Raven Queen, the goddess of death. And the dwarf is a cleric of Kord, the god of battle. So they find the dwarf, and he is completely passed out on the side of the road. And they kind of wake him up, and it's like, sup? And he's like, hi. And they're like, we're going on an adventure. And the dwarf's like, cool. And he joins them. So that was eventful. But I'm going to cut the video right here. Join me for the second part when I describe the events of the party's so far adventure in the Tower of Spellguard.